Phil Hundl here with a quick pipeline project alert. This has come to our attention. This project, we see all kinds of projects from very large diameter pipe projects from way out in West Texas to the coast. This one is a somewhat shorter project. This is the Pickton Gas Storage LLC project, and it covers essentially 3 counties. We've got Delta County, Hopkins County, and Lamar County. It's about a 45-mile pipeline, and it is natural gas pipeline, high pressure natural gas project. Pickton Gas Storage recently received their T4 permit with the Railroad Commission recently in May, and they're considered, what's their authority, at least as far as the Railroad Commission goes, is they're classified as a gas utility. A few details, once again, we are still getting to know more and more about this project as more and more landowners contact us for additional information. But what they're seeking right now is a 50-foot wide permanent easement area with a 50-foot wide temporary workspace or temporary work area. Also only seeking an easement for 1 pipeline. And once again, very important to make sure of these limitations or details of their easement, which they're seeking 1 pipe, an easement for 1 pipe, diameter of that 1 pipe, maximum diameter of 24 inches, very large diameter. We've seen a lot larger diameters from 36 inch to all the way up to 48 inch. So still a large diameter, 24 inch pipe. Once again, this is from Delta or through Delta, Hopkins, and Lamar. It cuts along a diagonal route. We'll try to put some of this information up on the blog, textcondemnationrights.com, but think of it as diagonally angling over or to the northwest, traveling down to the southeast above Sulphur Springs. Okay, so south of Paris, north Sulphur Springs, ending just a little bit west and north of Winsboro. So hopefully this information is helpful. If you're a landowner that you may have been, if you're in this area, you may have been contacted by the right-of-way acquisition company that has reached out to the landowners and is seeking initially survey access. They may have already even sent an initial offer. They're doing multiple things at once. We're seeing initial offers, and then we're also seeing that they're seeking additional survey access rights or additional survey access. So if you're a landowner, always important to know exactly what step are you at in the process. If you've been contacted about this Pickton Gas Storage project, you're very early in the process, and you're probably, look at our blog at the chart, you're probably at step 0 or 1. They're seeking or asking for survey access. We always recommend that survey access be in writing and not just verbally. Obviously, if something's just verbal, it can be misconstrued by either party. And so granting temporary limited access in writing is always a good deal or always a good idea. And to make sure those terms are as limited as possible, always important to visit with an attorney that handles eminent domain matters for landowners. They can talk to you about what that temporary access, limited temporary access in writing would look like. Visit with them. And then also, it always is a good idea to evaluate the route on your property or what they're proposing as the route on your property. And routing early on in the beginning or rerouting is always something that we try to focus on. The earlier, the better. Unfortunately, with a lot of these condemnors, it's always too late. And then they always say, oh, the route is established, even though they maybe have not even surveyed on your property. I will always have a trouble understanding that concept, but regardless, the earlier, the better that you can talk to the right-of-way acquisition folks, the row agents, about routing on your property. There may be some improvements or things that they're not familiar with that you can enlighten them on that they may not be aware of. Maybe you may have a well, you may have other improvements that they don't know about, other utilities, other irrigation lines on the property, you name it. Also, the timing of something like this could be very important as far as if you've got some timber on your property and you're looking to cut it maybe in the next year or so, and you're able to cut it sooner rather than later, then that's something you may want to line up so that they don't come through and clear cut the easement area and the temporary easement area and you lose very valuable timber. Those are all things that should be discussed with your attorney so that you can have a cohesive strategy moving forward if you are affected by this project or you have at least been contacted about this project. We oftentimes see projects where they will get rerouted off of your property. You may start with possibly being affected and then all of a sudden it's rerouted, you never know. So definitely better to be more proactive in the beginning than to sit back and just hope for the best, okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Good luck.